You're doing everything right, still broke. Why? What if effort is the lie we've been sold? Millionaires work less than you do. They just vibrate differently. Frequency attracts wealth. Force repels it. You've had it backwards. Tonight, 3 people will make your yearly income in their sleep. The difference. Not tactics, not hustle. Invisible magnetism. 2 questions will haunt you. What frequency am I on? What's it costing me? This audiobook rewires how you become rich. No grind. Just resonance. Let me tell you about the day I finally understood this. I was sitting in a coffee shop in San Francisco, watching a woman negotiate a contract on her phone. She wasn't aggressive. She wasn't hustling. She was laughing. Actually laughing while discussing a $250,000 deal. Her energy was light, almost careless, and the person on the other end kept saying yes. I'd just come from 3 back-to-back sales calls where I'd pushed, convinced, and practically begged. I'd closed nothing. She'd closed everything. Same city, same day, completely different frequency. That moment cracked something open in me. I realized I'd been taught to build wealth the same way we built factories in the Industrial Revolution, through force, through mechanical repetition, through grinding the gears until something finally moved. But wealth doesn't work like machinery anymore. It never really did. Wealth moves like water towards certain frequencies and away from others. And if you're on the wrong frequency, it doesn't matter how hard you work. You'll stay broke while people who understand this simple truth get rich in their sleep. The mechanical lie started generations ago, and it's still running your financial life, whether you know it or not. We were raised by people who were raised by people who believed that security came from clocking in, keeping your head down, and trading hours for dollars. That model made sense when the world ran on assembly lines and factory whistles. It makes 0 sense now. Yet here you are, probably listening to this while multitasking, while optimizing, while trying to squeeze more productivity out of an already exhausted day. You've been conditioned to believe that wealth is on the other side of more. More hours, more effort, more sacrifice, more hustle. The doctrine of more has a grip on your nervous system, and it's bankrupting you. Let's get clear on the 3 wealth myths that keep you trapped in force mode. The first myth is that hard work equals money. It doesn't. Hard work equals hard work. Money comes from value creation, leverage, and yes, frequency. The janitor at Goldman Sachs works hard. The CEO makes millions. Same building, different frequency. The second myth is that you have to earn the right to be wealthy. This is the worthiness wound, and it's costing you everything. Wealth isn't a merit badge. It's not a report card from the universe. It's energy meeting opportunity, and if your energy says, I'm not ready yet, or I need to prove myself first, opportunity will literally pass you by. The third myth is that money requires sacrifice, that to be rich you must give up balance, health, relationships, joy. This is perhaps the most insidious lie because it keeps good people poor. They look at wealthy people who are miserable and think that's the cost of admission. It's not. Miserable wealthy people are on a low frequency too. They just have more money to buffer the consequences for a while. Real wealth, sustainable wealth, magnetic wealth comes from a high frequency state. And high frequency feels good. It feels like ease, like flow, like you're working with the universe instead of against it. Your nervous system reads effort as scarcity. This is the part most people miss. When you push, force, and grind, your body interprets that as danger. It thinks resources must be scarce if you're working this hard to get them, and a nervous system in scarcity mode sends out a frequency that repels abundance. It's not woo-woo, it's biology. Your stress hormones, your cortisol levels, your heart rate variability. All of these create an electromagnetic signature that affects how people respond to you, how opportunities show up, and whether money flows toward you or away from you. I watched this play out with a client who was working 70-hour weeks trying to grow her business. She was exhausted, resentful, and despite all that effort, her revenue was flat. We didn't add more strategies. We didn't optimize her funnel. We helped her nervous system feel safe enough to rest. Within 3 weeks, she signed 2 clients at triple her normal rate. They came to her. She didn't hunt them down. That's frequency. There's a man I know who built a software company, sold it for 8 figures. He told me the year he made the most money was the year he worked the least. He'd stopped trying to control every outcome, stopped forcing solutions, stopped staying up until midnight, tweaking things that didn't need tweaking. He started taking Mondays off. He started saying no to meetings that felt heavy. He started trusting that if he showed up in a high-frequency state, the right things would happen. And they did. The acquisition offer came out of nowhere. A competitor reached out. The deal closed in 60 days. He wasn't hustling when it happened. He was on a beach in Thailand, fully present, fully resourced, vibrating at a frequency that said, "I'm already abundant." And abundance responded. So let me ask you this. What if everything you've been taught about building wealth is backwards? What if the answer isn't more effort, but a different frequency? What if you've been repelling money with the very strategies you thought would attract it? These aren't rhetorical questions. They're diagnostic ones. Your answers will tell you everything about why you're stuck. Now let's talk about what frequency actually is. Because if we're going to build wealth with it, you need to understand it as a measurable, tangible thing, not some abstract concept you can't touch. Frequency is your energetic signature. It's the combination of your emotional bandwidth, your belief voltage, and your nervous system baseline. Think of it like a radio station. You're always broadcasting. The question is, what station are you on? Are you on the scarcity station, the hustle station, the fear station? Or are you on the abundance station, the ease station, the I'm already resourced station? Money tunes into certain frequencies and tunes out others. If you're broadcasting lack, you get more lack. If you're broadcasting overflow, you get opportunities that match overflow. Emotional bandwidth is how much emotional range you can hold without collapsing. If you can only handle small wins, you'll only get small wins. If you freak out when big money shows up, your system will make sure big money stops showing up. It's not punishment. It's not the universe being mean. It's your nervous system trying to keep you safe inside the emotional range it knows. Belief voltage is the intensity and consistency of what you believe is possible for you. Weak beliefs create weak frequencies. If you kind of think you can make money but also kind of think it's hard, and maybe not for people like you, that's static. That's a mixed signal. Money doesn't respond to mixed signals. It responds to clarity. Your nervous system baseline is the resting state your body returns to when nothing's happening. Are you calm? Are you anxious? Are you ready for good things or braced for bad things? This baseline hums underneath everything you do, and it's either a magnet or a repellent. The scientific bridge here is real. HeartMath Institute has been studying this for decades. They've measured how heart coherence, the rhythm and pattern of your heartbeat, affects everything from decision-making to how people perceive you. When you're in a coherent state, your heart's electromagnetic field becomes measurably stronger. It radiates outward. People feel it, even if they don't consciously know it. You've experienced this. You've walked into a room and felt someone's energy before they said a word. You've met people who just feel lucky. That's frequency. Quantum physics is catching up too. The observer effect shows us that consciousness affects matter. Your attention, your expectation, your frequency, these things influence outcomes in ways we're only beginning to measure. But you don't need a lab to prove it. You just need to look at your bank account. Here's the mirror exercise. Your current frequency is reflected perfectly in your current financial reality. If you don't like what you see, you're not on the frequency you think you're on. This is hard to hear, I know, because you've been working so hard. You've been trying so genuinely, but frequency doesn't care about effort. It only responds to resonance. If you're constantly stressed about money, you're on the scarcity frequency. If you're always proving your value, you're on the not enough frequency. If you're waiting to feel ready before you raise your rates, you're on the waiting frequency. And none of those frequencies attract wealth. They deflect it. So let's do a frequency self-scan right now. Take a slow breath in. Hold it for a moment. Let it go. Do that 2 more times. Good. Now notice what you're feeling in your body as you think about money. Don't change it, just notice. Is there tightness? Where? Is there expansion? Contraction? Heaviness? What's the sensation? That sensation is your frequency made physical. If it feels constrictive, you're on a low frequency around money. If it feels open and easy, you're on a high frequency. This isn't judgment. It's just data. You can't change what you can't see. Now let's decode the magnetism equation, because this is where frequency becomes practical. Magnetism is frequency multiplied by visibility multiplied by receptivity. All 3 have to be active. You can have the highest frequency in the world, but if no one knows you, the 48-hour magnetism test is simple. For the next 2 days, track every opportunity that comes your way. Emails, messages, introductions, invitations, ideas. Don't judge them. Just notice. Are things flowing toward you, or do you feel like you're chasing everything? If things are flowing, your frequency is high. If you're chasing, your frequency is low. This test doesn't lie. It shows you in real time what you're attracting. So where is your magnetism broken right now? Is it frequency? Are you stressed, resentful, exhausted, or numb? Is it visibility? Are you hiding, playing small, not letting people see your full capacity? Is it receptivity? Are you deflecting praise, undercharging, or talking yourself out of opportunities before they land? One of these is your primary leak. Identify it. That's where the work begins. Now we enter the force detox, and this might be uncomfortable because you've been praised for your hustle. You've been rewarded for pushing through. You've built an identity around being the hardest worker in the room, and I'm about to tell you that all of that is poisoning your frequency. Hustle culture has done neurological damage to an entire generation. Burnout isn't a badge of honor. It's a broken frequency. It's your nervous system screaming that it can no longer sustain this pace. And yet you interpret that scream as weakness instead of wisdom. You push harder. You drink more coffee. You override your body's signals because you've been taught that rest is for the weak and success requires sacrifice. But here's what actually happens when you operate from force. Your cortisol levels stay elevated. Your heart rate variability drops. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for creativity and strategic thinking, goes offline. You become reactive instead of responsive. You make poor decisions. You miss opportunities. And your electromagnetic field, the invisible frequency you're broadcasting, becomes chaotic. People feel it. They might not name it, but they pull away. Deals fall through. Clients ghost. Opportunities evaporate. And you think you need to work harder, so you do, and the cycle deepens. There's an inverse relationship between cortisol and wealth. The more stress hormones you're running on, the less money you make. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because stress makes you stupid. It narrows your focus. It puts you in survival mode. And survival mode is a scarcity frequency. You can't think abundantly when your body believes it's under threat. You can't make high-level decisions when you're operating from your amygdala. You can't attract wealth when you're vibrating fear. Let's look at your productive habits for a moment. The things you do every day that you think are moving you forward. Are they actually productive or are they just busy? Because busy is often a poverty signal. It says, I have to do everything myself. I have to control every detail. I can't trust anyone else. I'm not resourced enough to delegate. I'm not valuable enough to charge more, so I need more clients. All of that is low frequency. High frequency looks like spaciousness. It looks like selectivity. It looks like doing less, but making each thing count more. The 7-day force fast is this. For 1 week, you remove everything from your schedule that feels like force. The networking event you don't want to go to. The client call that drains you. The content you're creating out of obligation instead of inspiration. The project you're forcing because you think you should. Strip it all out. Just for 7 days. I know what you're thinking. If I stop doing those things, everything will fall apart. But will it? Or is that the force talking? Test it. See what happens when you only do things that feel aligned. See what opportunities show up when you're not strangling your calendar with should-dos. One of my clients tried this and she was terrified. She was a consultant who said yes to every request because she was afraid of missing out on income. We cleared her calendar, kept only the work that felt good. In the first 3 days she panicked, thought she'd made a huge mistake. By day 5, 2 referrals came in. By day 7, a past client reached out with a project 3 times her normal rate. She didn't hunt for that. It found her, because she finally had the energetic bandwidth to be findable. Take a moment and do a force inventory right now. What are the top 5 ways you're using force in your life? Is it overfunctioning? Doing things for people who should be doing them for themselves? Is it urgency? Creating false deadlines and manufactured pressure? Is it proving, constantly trying to demonstrate your value because you don't actually believe in it? Is it controlling? Needing everything to go a certain way because uncertainty feels unbearable? Is it performing? Showing up as a version of yourself that's palatable instead of true? Write them down mentally or actually. These are your frequency leaks. Now, let's talk about scarcity, because this is the frequency that kills more dreams than anything else. Scarcity isn't about how much money you have. It's about the loop running in your body that tells you there's never enough. You've felt it. That clench in your chest when you look at your bank account. That panic when an unexpected expense comes up. That constant low-level anxiety that no matter what you do, you're one mistake away from losing everything. That's scarcity frequency. And it's a somatic loop, not a circumstance. You can have money in the bank and still run scarcity. You can be objectively fine and still feel the lack. Because scarcity lives in your body, not your bank account. There are 3 body zones where scarcity tends to live. The throat, where it shows up as constriction and the inability to ask for what you want. The solar plexus, where it shows up as tightness and the feeling that you're not enough. And the pelvis, where it shows up as collapsed energy and the belief that you're not safe. Different people hold scarcity in different places. Where do you hold it? Close your eyes for a moment if you can. Think about money. Notice where your body tightens. That's your scarcity zone. Interrupting the pattern requires breath, neural rewiring, and safe expansion. Breath first, because you can't change a frequency you're not present to. When scarcity grips you, you hold your breath. You brace, you tighten. So the interrupt is to breathe, slowly, deeply, into the place that's tight. Breathe into your throat if that's where it lives. Breathe into your belly if that's the spot. Breathe until you feel even a millimeter of softness. That softness is the beginning of a new frequency. Neural rewiring comes next. Every time you notice scarcity, you're going to name it, out loud if possible. You're going to say, that's scarcity. That's just a pattern. It's not truth. This sounds simple, but it breaks the identification. You stop being scarcity and start witnessing it. And what you can witness, you can change. Safe expansion is the final piece. You practice feeling resourced even when circumstances haven't caught up yet. You practice the frequency of abundance in small, safe ways. You buy the fancy coffee. You take the afternoon off. You give a generous tip, not to bypass your reality, but to teach your body that abundance is safe. I knew a consultant who couldn't break the scarcity loop. She was making 6 figures but living like she was broke. Never bought anything for herself, never took vacations, constantly worried about the next month's income, even though she'd been booked solid for 2 years. We traced it back. Her mom had been a single parent who worked 3 jobs. The family mythology was, we survive by staying vigilant. She'd inherited that frequency. We didn't therapy it away. We gave her body a new experience. She started a practice where every Friday she'd buy herself flowers. Just flowers. It was terrifying at first, felt wasteful, felt indulgent. But slowly, her nervous system started to believe that resources could be spent on beauty, on joy, on her. That was the crack in the scarcity. 6 months later, she doubled her rates. The flowers were frequency medicine. Generosity is frequency medicine too, but only when it's clean. Generous because you're overflowing, not because you're trying to prove you're not scared. There's a difference between giving from abundance and giving from lack. Giving from lack is, if I give, maybe I'll get. That's transactional. That's still scarcity. Giving from abundance is, I have more than enough, so this is easy. That's a high frequency. Your body knows the difference, and so does everyone else. Let's do a scarcity somatic release right now. Sit comfortably, close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a deep breath in through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale through your mouth for 6. Do that 3 times. Now bring your awareness to your body. Scan from the top of your head down to your toes. Where is there tightness? Where is there holding? Don't fix it, just notice it. Now imagine that tightness is a color. What color is it? Now imagine breathing a different color into that space. A color that feels like relief, like safety, like enough. Breathe that color into the tight places. Keep breathing. With each exhale, imagine the old color, the scarcity color, releasing, dissolving, leaving your body. With each inhale, the new color, the abundance color, filling you up. Do this for a few more breaths. When you're ready, open your eyes. Notice how you feel. That's a frequency shift. It's subtle, but it's real. Before we move on, take a moment and journal this. Before this practice, how did scarcity feel in your body? After this practice, what's different? Don't skip this. The noticing is what makes the shift stick. Now let's talk about rest, because this is where most high achievers lose everything. You've been conditioned to believe that rest is a reward for productivity, that you earn rest by working hard enough. That rest is downtime, wasted time, time you could be using to get ahead. And because of that belief, you never actually rest. You collapse, you burn out, you numb out with Netflix or scrolling, but you don't rest. Real rest is active. It's a state where your nervous system feels safe enough to repair, integrate, and recalibrate. And rest is a revenue strategy, not a luxury. The high performer's paradox is this. The harder you work, the more exhausted you become. The more exhausted you become, the lower your frequency drops. The lower your frequency, the more you repel wealth. So you work even harder to compensate, and the cycle continues. Exhaustion is a repellent frequency. It says I'm running on empty. I'm not resourced. I'm desperate. And desperation repels everything. Money, opportunities, high-quality people. All of it moves away from desperation. But when you rest, truly rest, your frequency rises. Your creativity comes back online. Your intuition sharpens, your presence becomes magnetic. People want to be around you. Opportunities find you. Money flows easier. There's neuroscience behind this. When you rest, your brain shifts into what's called the default mode network. This is where insights happen, where connections form, where strategic thinking emerges. You can't access this state when you're in constant motion. Hustle keeps you in task-positive mode, which is great for execution but terrible for vision. Rest gives you vision, and vision is what creates exponential wealth, not incremental effort. Strategic rest is different from collapse rest. Collapse rest is when you're so depleted you have no choice but to stop. You get sick, you shut down, you binge. That's your body forcing rest because you refuse to choose it. Strategic rest is intentional. It's planned. It's non-negotiable. It's saying I rest because I'm valuable, not because I've earned it. This mindset shift alone will change your income. There's a man who runs a marketing agency. He decided to take every Friday off, not because he was burned out, but because he wanted to model a new frequency for his team. At first, revenue dipped slightly. His team freaked out, thought he was checking out, but within 3 months, revenue went up by 30%. Why? Because he came back every Monday with clarity, with ideas, with energy that his clients felt. He closed bigger deals. He made better hires. He stopped micromanaging because he trusted himself and his team more. That's rest as strategy. Design your rest architecture. What does rest look like for you? Not what Instagram says it should look like, but what actually restores you. For some people it's silence. For others it's movement. For others it's being in nature or creating art. There's no right answer, but there is your answer. And you need to know it. Then you need to build it into your calendar the same way you'd build in a client meeting. Because rest isn't optional. It's the foundation of magnetism. Try the afternoon sabbatical protocol. Once a week, take an afternoon completely off. No work, no emails, no productive errands, just rest. Do something that feels nourishing. The first time you do this, you'll probably feel guilty. That's the force programming. Let it be there. Rest anyway. Notice what happens in the days after. Notice if ideas come, if opportunities show up, if you feel more magnetic. Track it. You'll see the correlation. Now do a rest resistance audit. Why don't you rest? What's the story you tell yourself? Is it I can't afford to, or I'll rest when I'm successful, or other people can rest but I can't because I'm behind? Those stories are poverty frequencies. They're keeping you trapped in force. Name them, write them down, look at them clearly, and then ask yourself, what if the opposite is true? What if rest is how you become successful? What if you're behind because you won't rest? What if rest is the most productive thing you could do? Let's talk about the money emotion now, because this is the signature you're broadcasting, and it's either opening doors or slamming them shut. Every income bracket has a dominant emotional frequency. People who make $50,000 a year tend to feel anxious about money. People who make $100,000 a year tend to feel relieved about money. People who make $500,000 a year tend to feel empowered about money. People who make $1 million or more tend to feel playful about money. These aren't rigid rules, but they're patterns. And the pattern reveals something crucial. You don't get to the next level by thinking your way there. You get there by feeling your way there. Your current money emotion is the feeling that most consistently shows up when you think about money. For a lot of people, it's fear. Fear that there won't be enough. Fear that you'll lose what you have. Fear that you're behind. Fear that you're not capable. That fear is a frequency, and it attracts more fear-inducing situations. If your money emotion is hustle, that constant drive to push and prove, you'll attract clients and opportunities that require hustle. If your money emotion is deserve, that need to earn your right to wealth, you'll attract situations that make you keep earning it over and over. If your money emotion is flow, that sense of ease and trust, you'll attract wealth that feels easy. The universe doesn't judge your emotion, it just matches it. Here's the emotional signature of different income levels, generally speaking. At $100,000 a year, the dominant emotion is stability. There's enough. It's not abundant yet, but the panic has softened. At $500,000 a year, the emotion shifts to confidence. You trust yourself. You know you can create wealth. At $1 million or more, the emotion is freedom. Money becomes a tool, not a source of stress. And here's the key. You don't wait until you're at that income level to feel that emotion. You practice the emotion now, and the income follows. That's frequency leading form. So what's your current money emotion? Be honest. When you think about money, what's the first feeling that arises? Don't spiritually bypass this. Don't pretend it's something elevated when it's actually fear or shame. The truth is your starting point. If it's fear, that's okay. You're not broken, but you are on a fear frequency, and that frequency has a ceiling. If you want a different result, you need a different emotion. Retuning techniques start with somatic shifts. You can't think your way out of an emotional frequency. You have to feel your way into a new one. This means practicing the target emotion in your body before it has a reason to be there. If your next level emotion is confidence, you practice feeling confident before the evidence arrives. You stand differently. You speak differently. You make decisions differently. If your next level emotion is playfulness, you bring play into your relationship with money now. You make it lighter. You stop taking it so seriously. Your nervous system learns the new pattern, and the pattern starts attracting matching opportunities. Environment design matters too. If you're surrounded by people who are anxious about money, you'll stay anxious. If you're consuming content that glorifies hustle and grind, you'll stay in that frequency. If your physical space is chaotic or depressing, your frequency will match it. Design your environment to support the emotion you're stepping into. This might mean changing who you spend time with, what you listen to, what's on your walls. It's not superficial, it's strategic. Language patterns are the third lever. The way you talk about money is either reinforcing the old frequency or building the new one. If you say things like, "I can't afford that," or "money is tight," or "I'm so broke," you're coding scarcity into your system. If you say things like, "I'm in transition," or "I'm building capacity," or "money flows to me easily," you're coding abundance. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about choosing language that opens possibilities instead of closing them. You can't skip emotional frequencies. This is the bypassing trap. You can't go from fear to playfulness in one jump. You have to move through the layers. Fear to stability. Stability to confidence. Confidence to freedom. Freedom to play. If you try to skip steps, your nervous system won't believe you. It'll snap you back to the frequency it knows. So be patient. Honor the layer you're in. Practice the next emotion, not the one 3 levels up. Let me tell you about Sarah. She's not real, but her story is true for dozens of people I've worked with. Sarah was making $70,000 a year, and her money emotion was anxiety. Every month felt like a scramble. She wanted to feel abundant, so she tried affirmations. She tried visualizations. She tried acting as if. None of it worked, because she was trying to skip from anxiety to abundance. That's too big a leap. We identified the next emotional layer, which was calm, not abundant, just calm. Calm was believable. So she practiced calm. She'd pause before looking at her bank account and take 3 breaths. She'd notice when anxiety started and she'd interrupt it with the question, "What if I'm actually okay right now?" She didn't force positivity. She just practiced calm. Within 2 months, she noticed something. Clients stopped ghosting her. Opportunities felt easier. She signed a contract for $20,000, her biggest ever. Was it the calm? Yes, the calm was a frequency. There was a coach who came to me stuck at $3,000 per client. She knew she was worth more. She had testimonials. She had results. But every time she tried to raise her rates, she'd panic and drop them back down. We didn't work on her pricing strategy. We worked on her worthiness. I asked her, "What are you afraid will happen if you charge $10,000? She said, "They'll say no. They'll think I'm arrogant. They'll realize I'm not that good." All of that was the worthiness wound talking. So we reframed it. What if someone saying no has nothing to do with your worth? What if it just means they're not the right client? What if you charging 10,000 is you finally respecting your own value? That landed. She raised her rates. The first person said no. She didn't collapse. The second person said yes without hesitation. Within 3 months, she'd signed 5 clients at 10,000 each. The money was always available. She just had to give herself permission to receive it. Here's the worthiness reclamation meditation. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Bring to mind a moment when you felt small, when you felt like you weren't enough. Let that memory be present without drowning in it. Just witness it. Now imagine your current self, the one listening to this, walking into that memory. Imagine yourself standing in front of the younger you. What would you say to them? What would you want them to know? Maybe you'd say, you are enough exactly as you are. Your value isn't based on what you do, it's inherent. You were born worthy. Say whatever feels true. Let that younger part of you hear it. Feel it. Now imagine bringing that younger self forward into the present. They're with you now. Integrated. Whole. Take a deep breath and open your eyes. That integration is a frequency shift. You just reclaimed a piece of your worthiness. Do a permission level assessment right now. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much permission do you give yourself to be wealthy? Not how much you want it, but how much you actually allow it. If your number is below an 8, that's your ceiling. You won't surpass it until you raise your permission level. And raising permission is a daily practice. It's catching yourself when you shrink and choosing to expand instead. It's saying yes to opportunities that scare you. It's charging what you're worth even when your hands shake. It's acting as if permission is already yours, because it is. Now let's talk about embodying the next level now, because this is where frequency becomes alchemy. Most people think they'll embody wealth after they have it. They'll feel confident after they succeed. They'll be calm after the money arrives. But that's backwards. Embodiment comes first. You become the frequency of your desired wealth before it shows up. And that's what collapses the timeline. This isn't manifestation fantasy. This is nervous system science. Your body is a frequency transmitter. When you embody the state of already having wealth, you broadcast that frequency, and reality reorganizes to match it. Embodiment is different from visualization. Visualization is seeing it in your mind. Embodiment is feeling it in your body. It's the posture, the breath, the pace, the presence of the person who already has what you want. Wealthy people move differently. They don't rush. They don't apologize for taking up space. They make eye contact. They speak clearly. They're comfortable with silence. They assume they belong. All of that is embodiment. And you can practice it right now, regardless of your bank account. Your nervous system is a timeline accelerator. When your body feels safe in a new reality, it stops resisting that reality. Most people sabotage wealth because their nervous system doesn't recognize it as safe. Big money feels dangerous. Success feels exposing. Visibility feels vulnerable. So the system hits the brakes. It creates delays, obstacles, and self-sabotage to keep you in the familiar zone. But when you practice embodying wealth, your nervous system gets familiar with it. It stops seeing it as a threat, and when the actual opportunity shows up, your body says yes instead of panicking. Dress rehearsal is living as future you today. What would the version of you who already has your desired income do today? How would they spend their morning? What would they wear? How would they handle a difficult conversation? What would they say no to? What would they prioritize? You're not pretending. You're practicing. You're giving your system the lived experience of that frequency so it becomes familiar instead of foreign. The posture of your next income level is probably more relaxed than your current posture. Scarcity makes people tense. Abundance makes people easeful. Notice how you hold your body right now. Are your shoulders up by your ears? Is your jaw clenched? Is your breath shallow? That's a scarcity posture. Now imagine someone who has financial freedom. How do they hold their body? Probably with more openness, more breath, more ease. Adjust your posture right now. Drop your shoulders. Soften your jaw. Take a full breath. That's embodiment. You just shifted your frequency by shifting your body. The pace of wealth is slower than you think. Scarcity rushes. Abundance takes its time. If you're always running late, always multitasking, always racing through conversations, that's a scarcity pace. Slow down. Move with intention. Let there be pauses. This might feel excruciating at first because you've been conditioned to equate speed with productivity. But speed is often just fear wearing a productivity mask. Slowness is confidence. It says, I have time. I'm not in a rush. I trust that everything I need will come. The presence of high-frequency people is palpable. When they walk into a room, you feel it. They're not performing. They're not trying to impress. They're just fully there. That presence is embodiment, and you build it through micro-practices. When someone's talking to you, are you fully listening, or are you planning your response? When you're eating, are you tasting your food or scrolling your phone? When you're walking, are you present in your body or lost in thought? Presence is a frequency, and its magnetic micro-embodiment throughout your day looks like this. Before you send an email, you pause and ask, how would my future self write this? Before you join a meeting, you take 3 breaths and embody the version of you who's already successful. Before you have a hard conversation, you drop into your body and feel the groundedness you want to communicate. These are seconds-long practices, but they compound. They teach your system a new baseline. Here's the 10-minute future self-embodiment practice. Set a timer. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths to settle in. Now imagine yourself 1 year from now. You've achieved your financial goal. You're living in the reality you want. Don't just see it, step into it. Feel what it feels like to be in that body. Notice your posture. Notice your breath. Notice the quality of your energy. What does confidence feel like in your chest? What does ease feel like in your shoulders? What does abundance feel like in your belly? Stay with the sensations. Let your body learn this frequency. When thoughts come, let them pass and return to the felt sense. This is embodiment. You're not imagining a future reality. You're inhabiting it now. When the timer goes off, open your eyes slowly. Carry that frequency with you into the rest of your day. Notice if things feel different, if people respond to you differently, if opportunities show up differently. Track your embodiment consistency. How often are you practicing this? Once a week won't cut it. Embodiment requires repetition. Daily is ideal. Multiple times a day is even better, because every time you practice, you're building new neural pathways. You're teaching your system that this frequency is safe, familiar, and available. Now we shift into magnetism mechanics, starting with visibility without force. This is where a lot of people get stuck. They know they need to be visible, but everything they do feels like pushing. They post on social media and it feels performative. They network and it feels exhausting. They create content and it feels like shouting into the void. That's because they're doing visibility from a low frequency. They're trying to convince people of their value instead of radiating it. Real visibility is an energy broadcast, not a content volume game. Ask yourself this. When you post something, are you hoping for validation, or are you sharing from overflow? If you're hoping for validation, that's a low frequency. If you're sharing because you're so full of an idea or insight that it has to come out, that's high frequency. People feel the difference. They might not consciously know it, but their nervous systems pick up on whether you're pulling energy from them or offering it to them. Pulling energy repels. Offering energy attracts. The magnetism content test is simple. Does your content pull or push? Pull content makes people lean in. It's curious, inviting, spacious. It asks questions. It reveals vulnerability. It offers value without demanding anything in return. Push content makes people pull back. It's salesy, urgent, desperate. It's trying too hard. It's over-explaining. Even if you're not technically selling, if your energy is please see me, please validate me, please choose me, That's push. And push repels. Showing up from overflow versus obligation changes everything. If you're creating content because you think you have to, because the algorithm demands it, because everyone else is doing it, that's obligation. That's force. That's low frequency. But if you're creating content because you have something to say, because you're excited about an idea, because you're genuinely trying to serve, that's overflow. That's high frequency. And high frequency is magnetic. A frequency-first visibility strategy means you prioritize your state over your output. You don't force content when you're depleted. You don't show up when you're resentful. You protect your frequency, and you only make yourself visible when you're resourced. This might mean posting less. It might mean going quiet for a week. And that's okay. One post from a high frequency will do more for your business than 100 posts from a low frequency. There was a writer who was posting every day, grinding out content, getting almost no engagement. She was exhausted and discouraged. We looked at her process. She was writing from obligation, not inspiration. She was trying to be consistent, which is a force strategy. We shifted her approach. She only wrote when she had something that felt alive. Some weeks that was 5 posts. Some weeks it was 0. But when she posted, it was from overflow. Within a month, one of her posts went viral, 20,000 shares. It led to speaking opportunities, client inquiries, and a book deal. That post wasn't better written than her others. It was better frequency. People felt the difference. Do a visibility frequency audit right now. Look at the last 5 things you shared publicly. For each one, ask yourself, was I in overflow or obligation when I created this? Was I pulling energy or offering it? Was I trying to prove something or genuinely sharing? Your answers will show you your visibility frequency. If most of your content is coming from obligation, that's your problem. Not your strategy, not your niche, not your messaging. Your frequency. Design a weekly magnetism-based content plan. Start by protecting your frequency. Schedule rest, play, and input that fills you up. Then, from that resourced place, notice what wants to be shared. Don't force it. Don't manufacture it. Just listen. When something feels alive, create from that. Maybe it's 1 piece of content. Maybe it's 3. There's no right number. The only metric that matters is frequency. Are you in overflow when you share it? If yes, share it. If no, wait. Let's talk about offers now, because your offer is a frequency container. It's not just what you're selling, it's the energetic signature of what you're selling. And if your offer is high value but low frequency, it won't sell. I see this all the time. Someone creates an incredible offer. It's well designed. It's fairly priced. It delivers real results, but it doesn't sell. Why? Because the frequency is off. Maybe they're selling from scarcity. Maybe they're over-explaining because they don't trust the value. Maybe they're apologizing in their copy. Maybe the offer itself is born from what do people want, instead of what do I love creating. All of that is low frequency, and low frequency doesn't magnetize. Pricing is a frequency test. Every time you state your price, your nervous system has a response. If the response is calm, confident, and grounded, your price is aligned. If the response is panic, justification, or apology, your price is misaligned. This doesn't necessarily mean your price is too high. It might mean your worthiness frequency hasn't caught up to your price. Or it might mean you're charging from fear, not from value. The goal is to find a price that feels clean, a price you can say without flinching. The magnetism offer formula is desire plus ease plus transformation. Desire means you actually want to deliver this offer. It's not just something you think will sell. It's something that lights you up. Ease means the delivery feels good to you. You're not grinding to fulfill it. You've designed it in a way that's sustainable. Transformation means your client gets a real result, not just information, but an actual shift. When all 3 are present, your offer becomes magnetic. People feel that you love what you do, that you're not scrambling, and that they'll genuinely change by working with you. Strip force language from your sales process. Force language includes words like limited time, only a few spots left, you need this now, don't miss out. All of that is manufactured urgency. It's trying to manipulate people into buying. And yes, it might create short-term sales, but it's a low-frequency strategy. It attracts low-frequency clients who need to be convinced, who are more likely to refund, who are coming from fear instead of desire. High-frequency sales language is spacious. It's inviting. It says, "This is here if it's for you. Take your time. Trust yourself." That language attracts high-frequency clients who are ready, who value your work, who stay. Let me tell you about Marcus. He's not real, but his story is. Marcus was a strategist who couldn't figure out why his offers weren't converting. His sales calls were exhausting. People would say yes, then ghost, or they'd say yes, then ask for discounts. He was selling a 12-week package for $5,000. On paper, it was solid, but energetically, it was off. We dug in. He didn't actually want to deliver 12 weeks. That felt long and draining to him. He was offering it because he thought that's what people expected. So we redesigned. He created a 4-week intensive for $8,000. It was shorter, higher priced, and way more aligned with what he actually loved doing. The first time he pitched it, he felt calm, grounded, excited. The client said yes immediately. No negotiation, no hesitation. That's frequency. The offer became magnetic because it matched his actual desire. Do the offer frequency rewrite now. Look at your current offer. Ask yourself these questions. Do I genuinely want to deliver this? Does the delivery feel easeful or forced? Does this create real transformation for my client? Is my pricing clean, or am I flinching when I say it? If any of those answers are off, that's where you rewrite. You're not looking for perfection. You're looking for alignment. Create an offer magnetism scorecard. Rate your offer from 1 to 10 in each area. Desire, how much do I want to deliver this? Ease, how sustainable is the delivery? Transformation, how much does this actually change my client? Pricing, how clean does my price feel? Any score below a 7 is a leak. That's where your magnetism is breaking down. Fix the lowest score first. Now we come to receiving, which is the final magnetism gate. You can have high frequency. You can have clear visibility. But if you can't receive, none of it matters. Receiving is a skill, and most high achievers are terrible at it. You're great at giving, great at doing, great at producing. But when someone tries to give to you, help you, compliment you, pay you, you deflect. You minimize, you redirect. And every time you do that, you're closing the magnetism gate. You're telling the universe, I'm not ready. Don't give me more. Receptivity is the ability to let good things land, to let compliments sink in, to let money arrive without immediately spending it or worrying about when the next payment will come, to let support show up without feeling like you owe something in return, to let success be easy without inventing problems to solve. Most people can't do this. They're wired for effort, for earning, for struggle. So when ease shows up, their system rejects it. There are 8 common ways high achievers block receiving. 1. Deflecting compliments. Someone praises your work and you say, "Oh, it was nothing," or "I got lucky," or "anyone could have done it." 2. Undercharging. You know you're worth more, but you charge less to make it easier for people to say yes. 3. Over-delivering. You give way more than you're paid for because you're afraid of disappointing people. 4. Refusing help. Someone offers support and you say, "I've got it," even when you're drowning. 5. Apologizing for taking up space. You say sorry when you're not sorry, just to make others comfortable. 6. Staying small to avoid visibility. You hold back your full capacity because being seen feels dangerous. 7. Spending money as soon as it arrives because having it feels uncomfortable. 8. Inventing problems when things are going well because ease feels unfamiliar. Do any of these sound like you? That's your receiving block. Nervous system capacity building for bigger numbers is critical. Your system has a tolerance level for how much good it can hold before it freaks out. If you've been living at $50,000 a year and suddenly you make $100,000 in a month, your system might panic. It might create drama, illness, or conflict to bring you back to the familiar level. This isn't conscious. It's your nervous system trying to protect you from what it perceives as danger. So you have to build capacity gradually. You teach your body that bigger numbers are safe. One way to do this is through visualization with sensation. You don't just imagine having more money, you feel what it would feel like in your body. You practice the calm, the ease, the safety of having that amount. You do this daily until your system stops red flagging it. Another way is through small receiving practices. Let someone buy you coffee without insisting you'll get the next one. Accept a compliment without deflecting. Take help without feeling guilty. These are microdoses of receiving that build your capacity for the macro. Gratitude without guilt is the clean receiving frequency. Most people can't be grateful without also feeling like they don't deserve it, or like they need to pay it back. That's conditional receiving. It's not open. Clean gratitude is thank you. I receive this. I'm grateful. Period. No caveats. No conditions. No guilt. Just openness. Money retention frequency is about earning versus keeping. Some people are great at making money, but terrible at keeping it. It comes in and immediately goes out. That's a retention block. It says, I can have money, but I can't hold money. Usually this comes from a belief that having money makes you greedy, selfish, or unsafe. Here's the receptivity expansion practice for the next 30 days. Every day you're going to practice receiving something. A compliment, an offer of help, a gift, a moment of ease, and you're going to practice clean receiving. No deflecting, no minimizing, no explaining. Just thank you. I received this. Notice how this feels. Notice where it's hard. Notice when you want to give something back immediately. That urge is the receiving block. Let it be there, but don't act on it. Just practice staying open. Do a receiving capacity assessment right now. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at receiving? If your number is below an 8, that's costing you. That's the leak. You might be generating opportunities, but you're not letting them fully land. Start with awareness. Every time you deflect, notice it. Don't judge it. Just notice. Awareness is the first step to change. Now let's talk about living in magnetism, because this isn't a one-time shift. It's a lifestyle. It's a daily choice to protect and prioritize your frequency above everything else. And that choice will feel countercultural because the world rewards force. The world praises hustle. The world celebrates people who sacrifice themselves. But the world is also full of burned out, broke people. So maybe the world's rewards aren't the ones you want. Your morning is your frequency foundation. How you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you start your morning reactively, checking your phone, scrolling, responding to other people's needs, you're giving away your frequency before you've even built it. If you start your morning intentionally, with practices that resource you, you're building a frequency foundation that can sustain you through the chaos. What does an intentional morning look like? It's different for everyone, but it includes some combination of silence, movement, breath, nourishment, and intention setting. It doesn't have to be long. 10 minutes of intentional morning is better than an hour of reactive morning. Energetic hygiene is about what you let into your field. People, places, content consumption, all of it affects your frequency. If you're spending time with people who complain constantly, who are cynical, who drain you, your frequency will drop. If you're consuming content that makes you feel less than, anxious, or angry, your frequency will drop. If you're in environments that are chaotic, cluttered, or depressing, your frequency will drop. You have to become ruthless about what you allow in, not from a place of judgment, but from a place of self-preservation. Your frequency is your most valuable asset. Protect it. Boundaries are frequency protection. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you leak frequency. Every time you let someone cross a line, you leak frequency. Every time you tolerate behavior that disrespects you, you leak frequency. Boundaries aren't walls. They're clarity. They're saying, this is what works for me. This is what doesn't. And high-frequency people have strong boundaries. They're not mean about it. They're just clear. Do a calendar audit. Look at your schedule for the last month. What percentage of your time was spent on things that resourced you versus things that drained you? If the ratio is off, that's your problem. You're leaking frequency through your calendar. Start saying no. Start blocking time for rest. Start protecting your energy like your income depends on it, because it does. Environment design for automatic high frequency means setting up your life so that staying in high frequency is the path of least resistance. This might mean rearranging your physical space so it feels good. It might mean automating tasks that drain you. It might mean batching meetings so you have full days of deep work. It might mean curating your social media so your feed is inspiring instead of depressing. Small environmental shifts create massive frequency shifts. Try the 7-day frequency lifestyle experiment. For 1 week, you're going to design every day for frequency. You're going to start your morning intentionally. You're going to protect your energy through boundaries. You're going to only consume content that elevates you. You're going to spend time with people who inspire you. You're going to eat food that nourishes you. You're going to move your body. You're going to rest without guilt. And you're going to track what happens. Track your energy. Track opportunities. Track income. Track how people respond to you. See the correlation. At the end of the week, give yourself a lifestyle magnetism score. On a scale of 1 to 10, how magnetic did your lifestyle feel? What supported your frequency? What drained it? What do you want to keep? What do you want to change? This experiment shows you that frequency is a choice, and it's available to you right now. Now let's normalize something. Frequency dips, and it will. You're not going to maintain a high frequency every single day. Life happens, stress happens, grief happens, exhaustion happens. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is resilience. The goal is knowing how to recover quickly when your frequency drops so it doesn't become a spiral. There are 5 early warning signs of a frequency drop. 1, you start feeling resentful. Things that normally feel fine suddenly feel annoying. 2, you stop enjoying what you usually love. Work feels heavy. Creativity feels forced. 3, you isolate. You stop reaching out. You cancel plans. You withdraw. 4, your body gets tight. Shoulders, jaw, belly. Everything clenches. 5, you start catastrophizing. Small problems feel huge. You spiral into worst-case scenarios. If you notice any of these, your frequency is dropping. Don't ignore it. Address it immediately. The emergency frequency reset toolkit is simple. First, stop. Whatever you're doing, stop. Don't push through. Second, breathe. 5 minutes of deep breathing can shift your nervous system. Third, move. Go for a walk. Stretch. Dance. Get out of your head and into your body. Fourth, connect. Reach out to someone who feels good. Not to vent, but to be witnessed. Fifth, rest. Sometimes a frequency drop is just your system saying you need to pause. Listen to it. Here's the difference between a frequency dip and spiritual bypassing. A frequency dip is real. It's your system responding to stress, and it needs care. Spiritual bypassing is pretending everything's fine when it's not. It's forcing positivity. It's ignoring your actual feelings in favor of maintaining a high vibe. Bypassing makes the dip worse because you're adding resistance on top of the stress. Real frequency work includes acknowledging when you're low, honoring it, caring for it, and gently guiding yourself back to center. There's a story I want to share about an entrepreneur named Lisa. Again, not her real name, but her experience is real. Lisa had built a multiple 6-figure business, and then her father died unexpectedly. She was devastated, and in her devastation, she tried to maintain her frequency. She tried to stay positive, keep working, keep showing up. She didn't want to let her clients down, but her body was screaming. She was exhausted. She was numb. She was going through the motions. And her business started to suffer, not because she was grieving, but because she was bypassing the grief. When she finally gave herself permission to stop, to actually feel the loss, to let her frequency drop without shame, something shifted. She took a month off. She cried. She rested. She let people support her. And when she came back, her frequency was stronger than it had been before the loss. She deepened. Her capacity had grown. Her clients felt it. Her business rebounded. That's what happens when you honor frequency dips instead of resisting them. Create a frequency recovery protocol for yourself. What helps you recover when you're low? Is it time in nature? Is it talking to a specific friend? Is it journaling? Is it crying? Is it sleeping? Is it moving your body? Is it being held? Know what works for you, and when your frequency drops, go to your protocol. Don't wait. Don't push through. Recover immediately. Build a resilience plan. Who are the people you can call when you're low? What are the practices that always help? What are the early warning signs you'll pay attention to? Write this down. Make it concrete. So when you're in the dip, you don't have to figure it out. You just follow the plan. Now let's talk about magnetism compounding, because this is the long game. Frequency work front loads effort. In the beginning, it's hard. You're unlearning patterns that have been running for decades. You're building new neural pathways. You're challenging old beliefs. It feels like you're doing a lot and not seeing immediate results. But frequency work is exponential, not linear. The gains compound. What feels hard in month 1 becomes easy in month 6. What feels impossible in month 1 becomes inevitable in year 1. The 90-day magnetism milestone map looks like this. In the first 30 days, you're waking up. You're becoming aware of your frequency. You're noticing when it's high, when it's low, what affects it. This is the awareness phase. In days 30 to 60, you're experimenting. You're trying new practices. You're testing what works. You're building your frequency toolkit. This is the experimentation phase. In days 60 to 90, you're integrating. The practices that work are becoming habits. Your frequency is stabilizing. You're starting to see results. Opportunities are showing up differently. This is the integration phase. After 90 days, you're compounding. The results start to accelerate. Things that used to take months now take weeks. Things that used to feel hard now feel easy. You're in the magnetism zone. Frequency as legacy means teaching this to your family, to your kids, to the people around you. Imagine if you'd learned about frequency when you were. Your next level frequency identity is already inside you. It's not something you have to create. It's something you have to uncover. It's who you are when all the conditioning falls away, when all the fear dissolves, when all the force relaxes. It's the version of you that knows you're valuable, that trusts in abundance, that moves through the world with ease. That version is available right now, not someday. Now, here's the 5-year frequency vision exercise. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Now imagine yourself 5 years from now. You've been living in high frequency for 5 years. What has that created? What does your life look like? How do you feel in your body? What's your relationship with money? With work, with yourself? Don't edit this vision. Don't make it reasonable. Let it be as big and expansive as it wants to be. Feel the frequency of that future self. Feel the calm, the confidence, the ease, the joy. Let your body learn that frequency. This is your North Star. This is what you're building toward. Make a commitment contract with your future self. What are you willing to commit to for the next 90 days? What frequency practices will you prioritize? What boundaries will you hold? What patterns will you interrupt? Write it down, sign it. This isn't a contract with me. It's a contract with yourself. Honor it. You are now a frequency-first human in a force-obsessed world. That's going to feel lonely sometimes. It's going to feel countercultural. People might not understand. They might judge you for resting, for setting boundaries, for charging your worth. Let them. You're not here to make sense to people who are still operating from force. You're here to live in alignment. You're here to be magnetic. You're here to prove that there's another way. You'll never unknowingly repel money again. Because now you have the awareness. You know what frequency feels like. You know when you're in force and when you're in flow. You know the signs. And when you catch yourself slipping into old patterns, you can course correct. That awareness alone is worth everything. Wealth will feel easy because you're finally in energetic alignment. This doesn't mean there won't be challenges. It doesn't mean you'll never work hard. It means the hard work will feel good. It'll feel aligned. It'll feel like you're working with the universe instead of against it. And when wealth shows up, it won't feel like a fluke. It'll feel natural. It'll feel deserved. It'll feel like, of course, this happened. The universe rewards resonance. This is the truth underneath everything. You don't have to manipulate. You don't have to force. You don't have to convince. You just have to resonate. You have to become the frequency of what you want. And when you do, the universe rearranges itself to match you. Opportunities appear. People show up. Money flows. Not because you earned it through suffering, but because you aligned with it through frequency. You're now tuned to prosperity. You've been given the codes. You understand that wealth isn't about mechanics. It's about magnetism. You know that frequency comes before form. You know that your nervous system, your emotions, your embodiment, these are the real levers, and you know how to work them. Now it's just a matter of practice, of showing up daily to your frequency work, of choosing alignment over force, of protecting your energy like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. Welcome to life as a magnet. This is where ease lives, where wealth flows, where opportunities find you, where you stop chasing and start receiving, where you remember that you're not broken, you were just on the wrong frequency, and now you're not. Now you're dialed in. Now you're magnetic. Now you're ready. Let's close with a magnetism meditation. Find a comfortable position. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs completely. Hold for a moment. Exhale slowly through your mouth, releasing everything. Do that 2 more times. With each breath, let your body soften. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw relax. Let your belly be soft. Now bring your awareness to your heart center, the space in the middle of your chest. Imagine a warm golden light there. With each inhale, that light grows brighter. With each exhale, it expands outward. This light is your magnetism. It's your frequency. It's the energetic signature that attracts wealth, opportunity, and abundance. Feel it radiating from your heart, filling your entire body, filling the space around you. This is your natural state. This is who you are when you're not in force, when you're not in fear, when you're not in scarcity. This is your magnetism. Now set an intention. Silently or out loud say, I am a magnet for wealth. I am aligned with abundance. I receive easily. I trust my frequency. Repeat that a few times. Let it sink into your body. Let your nervous system hear it. Believe it. Now imagine your future self, the one who's already living the life you want. See them clearly. Feel their frequency. Notice how calm they are, how confident, how easeful. Now imagine that version of you stepping forward, merging with you right now. You become them. You embody their frequency. This isn't future, this is now. You are already the person who has what you want. You just needed to remember. Take 1 more deep breath. When you're ready, open your eyes. You're different now. You're magnetized. Carry this frequency with you today, tomorrow, and every day forward. Here's the daily 60-second magnetism check-in. Once a day, every day, pause. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. Ask yourself, what frequency am I on right now? Don't judge the answer. Just notice. If you're on a low frequency, that's okay. You can shift. Take 3 more breaths. Choose a higher frequency. Feel it in your body. Open your eyes and carry on. 60 seconds. That's all it takes to stay calibrated. Over the next 30 days, you'll notice yourself becoming more magnetic. Week 1, you'll start catching low-frequency patterns before they spiral. Week 2, opportunities will start showing up with less effort. Week 3, money will start flowing more easily. Week 4, you'll look back and realize how much has shifted. By 60 days, people will comment on how different you seem. They won't know why, but they'll feel it. By 90 days, your life will look tangibly different. New clients, new income, new ease. This is the magnetism timeline. This is what happens when you prioritize frequency over force. Let me give you a detailed example of what this looks like in real time. There's a photographer named Daniel. He'd been stuck at $75,000 a year for 3 years. Same clients, same rates, same exhaustion. He found this work and committed to 90 days. Day 1, he did the frequency self-scan and realized he was operating from pure scarcity. His chest was tight, his breathing was shallow, and every time he thought about money, his stomach clenched. He started with just the morning practice, 5 minutes of breathing before he checked his phone. That was it. Week 1 was brutal. He wanted to skip it. It felt like a waste of time, but he stuck with it. By week 2, something subtle shifted. A client emailed asking if he had availability for a project. Normally, Daniel would have said yes immediately, even though his calendar was packed. This time he paused. He took 3 breaths. He checked his frequency. It felt tight at the thought of squeezing it in. So he said no. He referred them to another photographer. 2 days later, a different client reached out with a project at double his normal rate. He said yes to that one. That was his first experience of magnetism. The no created space for the bigger yes. Week 3, he raised his rates by 30%. He was terrified, but he'd been practicing embodiment every morning. He'd been feeling what it felt like to be the photographer who charges that much. So when he sent the new pricing to a potential client, his hands shook, but his voice was steady. They said yes without negotiating. Week 4, he looked at his calendar and realized he was working 20% less and making 15% more. By day 60, he'd signed 3 clients at his new rates. By day 90, he'd made $110,000 in that quarter alone, more than he'd made in any previous year. Same skills, same camera, different frequency. But here's what's important. Daniel had setbacks. Week 5, he had a moment of panic and almost dropped his rates back down for a client who pushed back. Week 7, he overworked himself for 3 days straight and his frequency tanked. He had to reset. Week 9, he compared himself to another photographer on Instagram and spiraled into scarcity for a full day. This isn't a straight line. It's a practice. And Daniel practiced. Every time he noticed he was off frequency, he came back. That's the difference. Not perfection, but return. Now let me give you the day-by-day micro-challenges for your first 30 days. These are small, specific actions that build your frequency muscle. Day 1, do a 3-minute frequency scan when you wake up. Just notice where you are. No fixing, just noticing. Day 2, practice receiving 1 compliment cleanly. No deflecting, no minimizing. Just thank you. Day 3, say no to 1 thing you'd normally say yes to out of obligation. Notice how your body feels when you honor yourself. Day 4, take 3 conscious breaths before every meal. This trains presence. Day 5, delete or mute 3 social media accounts that lower your frequency. Protect your input. Day 6, spend 10 minutes in complete silence. No music, no podcast, no distractions. Just you and the quiet. Day 7, review the week. What shifted? What felt hard? What do you want to carry forward? Day 8, identify your money emotion. Name it without judgment. Day 9, practice the next emotional layer for 5 minutes. If you're in fear, practice calm. If you're in calm, practice confidence. Day 10, audit your calendar. Where are you leaking frequency? Circle 1 thing to eliminate. Day 11, raise your prices by 10% or ask for what you actually want in one situation. Feel the frequency of that boldness. Day 12, rest for 2 hours in the middle of the day without guilt. Set a timer. This is an assignment. Day 13, write down 5 ways you deflect receiving. Get specific. Day 14, practice staying open when someone gives you something. Money, time, a compliment, help. Don't immediately reciprocate. Day 15, halfway point. Celebrate how far you've come. Do something that feels abundant. Day 16, create a boundary you've been avoiding. Say it clearly, kindly, firmly. Day 17, notice where you're people-pleasing. Write it down. Day 18, do the future self-embodiment practice for 15 minutes. Really feel it. Day 19, reach out to 1 person who feels high frequency. Connect from overflow, not need. Day 20, move your body in a way that feels good for 20 minutes. Dance, walk, stretch, anything. Day 21, 3 weeks in. What's different about you? Write it down. Day 22, spend money on something that feels luxurious but unnecessary. This is nervous system training. Day 23, practice being visible from overflow. Post something, share something, say something you've been holding back. Day 24, when scarcity hits today, and it will, do the somatic release practice immediately. Day 25, identify your top frequency leak. The person, habit, or thought pattern that drains you most. Make a plan to address it. Day 26, do nothing for 1 hour. Literally nothing. Sit, stare, be. This is advanced receiving practice. Day 27, reflect on your worthiness. Where do you still feel like you need to earn your value? Day 28, practice inner authority. Make one decision today from your own knowing, not external validation. Day 29, tomorrow is day 30. Plan how you'll celebrate. Make it meaningful. Day 30, celebrate. Review everything that's shifted. Decide what you're committing to for the next 60 days. This is your foundation. These micro challenges are designed to be doable, but stretchy. You're not trying to overhaul your whole life on day one. You're building capacity. You're proving to your nervous system that change is safe. You're training your frequency muscle. And just like physical muscles, frequency muscles get stronger with consistent, progressive challenge. Now, let's talk about relapse proofing, because this is where most people lose the work. You'll have a great week. You'll feel magnetic. You'll see results. And then something will happen. A stressful event, a financial setback, a criticism, a comparison, and you'll snap back into old patterns. You'll start forcing again. You'll abandon the practices. You'll tell yourself, this frequency stuff doesn't work. This is the danger zone, and I want you to be ready for it. Relapse proofing starts with normalizing the dip. You will have frequency dips. You will slip back into force. You will forget everything you learned here. That's not failure. That's being human. The goal isn't to never dip. The goal is to notice when you dip and return to frequency quickly. Most people dip and then spiral for weeks or months because they make the dip mean something about them. They think, I'm broken, I can't do this, I knew it wouldn't work. That narrative keeps them stuck. Instead, the narrative needs to be, oh, I'm in a frequency dip. I know what to do. I have a protocol. Here's your relapse proofing protocol. Step 1, name it. Out loud if possible. Say, I'm in force mode right now, or my frequency is low, or I'm in scarcity. Naming it creates distance. You stop being it and start witnessing it. Step 2, drop into your body. Put your hand on your heart. Take 5 slow breaths. This interrupts the pattern and brings you back to presence. Step 3, ask, what do I need right now? Not what should I do, but what do I actually need? Maybe it's rest. Maybe it's connection. Maybe it's movement. Maybe it's crying. Listen to the answer. Step 4, give yourself what you need without judgment. If you need to rest, rest. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to vent to a friend, vent. Don't spiritual bypass this. Honor the need. Step 5, when you're slightly more resourced, do one frequency practice. Just one. Maybe it's the embodiment practice. Maybe it's a walk. Maybe it's the worthiness meditation. Just one thing to shift the trajectory. Step 6, recommit. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to return. Say out loud, I'm choosing frequency again. That choice resets everything. Let me tell you about a woman named Keisha. She did this work for 6 weeks and had incredible results. She signed 2 new clients at rates she'd never charged before. She felt calm for the first time in years. Her relationships improved. Then her car broke down. $1,200 repair. She panicked. All the scarcity came flooding back. She abandoned the practices, started overworking again, started undercharging again, stopped resting. Within 2 weeks, she was more exhausted than she'd been before she started. She thought she'd lost all her progress. But then she remembered the relapse protocol. She named it. I'm in scarcity. I let a car repair throw me off my frequency. She put her hand on her heart and breathed. She asked what she needed. The answer was support. So she called a friend and told her what was happening. The friend reminded her of how far she'd come. That grounded her. Then she did one practice. The future self-embodiment, just 10 minutes. That shifted something. She recommitted. She said out loud, "I'm choosing frequency again." The next day, one of her clients prepaid for 3 months. The money stress dissolved. But more importantly, she proved to herself that she could return. That's the real win. Your relapse triggers are important to identify ahead of time. Common triggers include unexpected expenses, client rejections, comparing yourself to others, being around low-frequency people, getting sick, seasonal depression, and hitting a new income level that feels uncomfortable. Write down your personal triggers. What typically throws you off your frequency? Once you know them, you can prepare. You can have a plan for when they show up. For unexpected expenses, the plan might be pause, breathe, remind myself this doesn't mean I'm not abundant. This is just a thing that needs to be handled. Return to frequency before I solve it. For client rejections, the plan might be feel the disappointment without making it mean I'm not good enough. Remind myself that one no creates space for a better yes. Do the worthiness practice. Move forward. For comparison spirals, the plan might be close the app immediately, take 3 breaths, remember my journey is my own, do something that makes me feel proud of myself. Having these plans in advance means you don't have to figure it out in the moment when you're already activated. Create a frequency emergency kit. This is a literal or metaphorical kit of things that bring you back to high frequency quickly. Maybe it includes a playlist that always lifts your energy, a list of people you can call who get it, a journal prompt that recenters you, a physical object that reminds you of your magnetism, a screenshot of a client win, a voice note you recorded to yourself when you were in high frequency, a favorite meditation, whatever works for you. When you're in a frequency dip, you pull out the kit and use it. Now let's go deeper into specific practices, because the micro challenges give you the what, but you need the how. Let's start with the morning frequency practice in detail. This is the foundation of everything. You wake up. Before you do anything else, before you check your phone, before you get out of bed, you take 3 deep breaths. You're marking the beginning of your day with presence, not reactivity. Then you do a 60-second body scan, starting at the top of your head, moving down to your toes, just noticing where there's tension, where there's ease, where there's sensation. This builds interoception, the ability to sense your internal state. That's crucial for frequency awareness. Then you sit up. You put your hand on your heart. You ask yourself, what frequency do I want to embody today? Maybe it's calm. Maybe it's confident. Maybe it's playful. Choose one word. Then you spend 3 minutes feeling that frequency in your body. Not thinking about it, feeling it. If you chose calm, what does calm feel like in your chest? In your belly? In your shoulders? Let your body learn the sensation. This is embodiment training. You're teaching your nervous system the target frequency before the day even starts. Then you set one intention for the day. Not a to-do, an intention. Today, I move from overflow. Today, I trust myself. Today, I receive easily. One sentence that captures the frequency you're practicing. Say it out loud 3 times. Let it land. Then you're done. 5 minutes total. That's your morning practice. Simple, portable, powerful. Do this every single day for 90 days and your life will transform. Not because the practice is magic, but because you're starting every day from a high frequency instead of a reactive frequency. The afternoon frequency reset is for when you notice you've slipped. Maybe it's after a hard meeting. Maybe you just got triggering news. Maybe you're just tired. You feel your frequency dropping. Here's what you do. You step away. If you're working, you take a 5-minute break. You go outside if possible. If not, you find a quiet spot. You stand with your feet hip-width apart. You close your eyes. You take 5 deep breaths, focusing on making the exhale longer than the inhale. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system. Your body starts to calm down. Then you do a movement reset. You roll your shoulders back 10 times. You shake out your arms. You twist your torso side to side. You're discharging stress from your body. This matters because frequency lives in the body, not just the mind. Then you put both hands on your belly. You say out loud, "I'm safe right now." Say it 3 times. This is a somatic anchor. Your nervous system hears your voice, feels your hands, and starts to believe the message. Then you ask, "What's one thing I can do right now to raise my frequency?" Maybe it's drinking water. Maybe it's texting a friend. Maybe it's listening to a song. Do that one thing. Then return to your day. You just interrupted a frequency spiral in 5 minutes. The evening frequency integration practice is how you end the day. This is where you review, release, and reset. You sit down with a journal or just sit in silence. You review the day. Where was I in high frequency today? Where did I dip? What triggered the dip? How did I respond? You're not judging, you're gathering data. This makes you smarter about your frequency patterns. Then you release. You take a few deep breaths and imagine anything that happened today that lowered your frequency, leaving your body with each exhale. You're not carrying it into tomorrow. You're letting it go. Then you reset for tomorrow. You think about the next day. What's on your calendar? What might trigger you? How do you want to show up? You visualize yourself moving through the day in high frequency. You see yourself responding to challenges with calm. You see yourself making decisions from your center. This is mental rehearsal. Athletes do it. Performers do it. You can do it for your frequency. Then you set your intention for tomorrow. You say it out loud. You let it sink in. Then you sleep. This practice takes 10 minutes. It creates closure for today and sets you up for tomorrow. Now let's talk about the weekly frequency review, because daily practices build the muscle, but weekly reviews build the wisdom. Once a week, same day, every week, you sit down for 30 minutes and you review. You look at the past 7 days. You ask yourself these questions. What was my average frequency this week? You're not looking for a precise number, just a felt sense. Was I mostly high or mostly low? What raised my frequency this week? Get specific. Was it a conversation, a decision, a practice, a boundary? What lowered my frequency this week? Again, specifics. Was it a person, an event, a thought pattern, exhaustion? What patterns am I noticing? Maybe you notice you always dip on Wednesdays. Maybe you notice you're always low after client calls. Maybe you notice you spike after rest days. These patterns are gold. They tell you exactly what to adjust. What do I want to do differently next week? 1 or 2 specific changes, not 10, 1 or 2. Maybe you're going to rest more. Maybe you're going to set a boundary with someone. Maybe you're going to stop checking social media before bed. Choose the changes, write them down, commit to them. Then you celebrate your wins. This is crucial. Even if it was a hard week, there were wins. You stayed in frequency for a whole day. You caught a scarcity spiral early. You said no to something. You received a compliment cleanly. You rested without guilt. Find the wins. Write them down. Let them matter. This trains your brain to look for evidence of progress instead of evidence of failure. Your weekly review is your frequency dashboard. It shows you exactly what's working and what needs adjustment. Let me tell you about a man named Terrence. He's a consultant who was drowning in client work. He was working 60-hour weeks and making decent money, but he was miserable. His health was suffering. His marriage was strained. He found this work and started the daily practices. Morning, afternoon reset when needed, evening integration. For 4 weeks, nothing changed externally. He was still working 60 hours, still exhausted, but something was changing internally. He was more aware. He was catching his patterns. He was noticing how certain clients drained him more than others. Week 5, he did his weekly review and had a realization. 3 of his 10 clients were responsible for 70% of his stress, but only 20% of his income. Low frequency, low revenue. He made a decision. He was going to finish their contracts and not renew. He was terrified. That felt like force. like scarcity, like I need every client I can get. But his frequency work had built enough trust that he took the leap. He let those 3 clients go. Suddenly, he had 20 hours a week back. He used those hours to rest, to be with his family, and to create a new offer, a high-end intensive that he actually wanted to deliver. Within 2 months, he'd sold 4 of those intensives at 3 times what he was charging the old clients. He was working 30 hours a week and making more money. But more importantly, he felt alive again. His marriage improved. His health improved. He had energy. That's what frequency work does. It shows you exactly where you're leaking, and it gives you the courage to plug the leaks. Terence still does his weekly reviews. Every Sunday morning, he says it's the most important hour of his week because it keeps him calibrated. Now, let's dive into the layers of frequency work that go beyond the basics. There's surface frequency work, which is practices and habits. That's important. But then there's shadow frequency work, which is dealing with the parts of you that are terrified of wealth. The parts that believe you're not allowed to have it. The parts that think being rich makes you bad. Those parts will sabotage you unless you bring them into the light. Shadow frequency work is asking questions like, what am I afraid will happen if I'm wealthy? Who will I become that scares me? What will I have to give up? What am I getting out of staying small? These are hard questions. Most people avoid them. But the answers are your roadmap to freedom. Maybe you're afraid that if you're wealthy, your family will ask you for money and you'll have to choose between your boundaries and their approval. That's real. That's a legitimate fear. And until you face it and make peace with it, that fear will keep you from magnetizing wealth. Or maybe you're afraid that wealth will change you, make you arrogant or disconnected or superficial. That fear is often rooted in judgment you witnessed as a kid. Rich people being vilified. That imprint is running your frequency. The way through shadow frequency work is not to bypass the fear, but to dialogue with it. You literally sit down, get quiet, and ask the fearful part of you, what are you afraid of? You let it answer. You listen. You don't try to convince it that it's wrong. You just let it be heard. Then you ask, what do you need to feel safe? Maybe it needs to know that you'll stay grounded even if you're wealthy. Maybe it needs to know that you'll set boundaries with family. Maybe it needs to know that you'll still be you. You give it that reassurance. You make agreements with it. This is inner negotiation. It's deep work, but it clears frequency blocks that surface practices can't touch. Another layer is collective frequency work. You're not just carrying your own scarcity patterns. You're carrying your families, your lineages, your cultures. If you come from generations of poverty, survival mode is in your bones. If you come from a lineage of persecution or oppression, fear is in your cells. This isn't your fault, but it is your responsibility to heal. Collective frequency work is acknowledging the burden you've inherited and consciously choosing to lay it down. It's saying, I honor where I come from, and I'm creating something new. One way to do this is through a simple ritual. You sit quietly. You imagine your ancestors behind you. All the way back, you acknowledge their struggles, their survival, their sacrifices. You thank them. Then you say, I'm taking what's mine to heal. I'm releasing what's not mine to carry. I'm breaking the cycle. I'm creating abundance, not just for me, but for all of us. You can rest now. I've got this. You feel the weight lifting. You feel the permission landing. This might sound esoteric, but it's powerful. Your nervous system responds to ritual. It responds to permission. And sometimes you need to release, not just your own patterns, but the ones you inherited. Let's talk about frequency in relationships, because this is where things get complicated. You can do all the personal frequency work in the world, but if you're surrounded by low-frequency people, it's hard to sustain. You might have a partner who's stuck in scarcity, who panics every time you spend money, who doesn't understand why you need rest, who thinks your frequency work is silly. The same applies to friendships. You might have friends who bond over complaining, who compete instead of celebrate, who drain you. As your frequency rises, those friendships will start to feel misaligned. You'll notice you don't want to spend time with them anymore. That's okay. That's growth. You can love people and outgrow them. You can honor what the friendship was and release what it's become. High-frequency relationships are reciprocal, supportive, and spacious. They feel good. They fill you up. If a relationship consistently depletes you, that's data. That's your frequency telling you something needs to change. Now let's talk about money stories in depth, because this is the bedrock of financial frequency. Everyone has money stories, beliefs about money that were formed in childhood and are now running in the background of your financial life. These stories dictate how much you make, how much you keep, and how you feel about all of it. Common money stories include: money is hard to get, rich people are greedy, I'm bad with money, there's never enough, I have to work hard for money, money changes people, I don't deserve wealth, money will make me a target, if I have money someone will take it, wanting money is selfish. Do any of these sound familiar? Your money stories came from somewhere. Maybe your parents fought about money. Maybe you watched them stress about bills. Maybe they made comments about rich people being corrupt. Maybe they praised hard work above all else. Maybe they lived in fear of losing what they had. Whatever the environment, you absorbed messages, and those messages became your operating system. The work is to first identify your money stories. Write them down, all of them. The conscious ones and the ones you sense are there but haven't fully articulated. Then ask where each one came from. Who taught you this? What experience reinforced it? Understanding the origin helps you see that it's not truth. It's just a story you inherited. Then you rewrite the stories. For every limiting money story, you create a new empowering one. Money is hard to get becomes money flows to me easily. Rich people are greedy becomes wealthy people have the resources to be generous. I'm bad with money becomes I'm learning to manage money well. There's never enough becomes there's always enough. I have to work hard for money becomes money comes to me through aligned action. Money changes people becomes I stay grounded regardless of my bank account. I don't deserve wealth becomes I'm worthy of abundance. Money will make me a target becomes my wealth creates safety. If I have money someone will take it becomes I protect my resources wisely. Wanting money is selfish becomes wanting money allows me to serve at a higher level. You don't just write the new stories once. You practice them. You say them out loud every day. You look for evidence that they're true. You act from the new story even when the old one is louder. This is neural rewiring. It takes time, but it works. Your brain is plastic. It can learn new patterns, and as the new money stories take root, your frequency shifts. You start to vibrate abundance instead of scarcity, and wealth responds. Let me tell you about an accountant named Priya. She was objectively good with money. She managed other people's finances for a living, but her own finances were a mess. She could never save. She lived paycheck to paycheck despite making six figures. We dug into her money stories. She had a deep belief that, if I have money, my siblings will resent me. She was the first in her family to go to college, the first to have a professional career. Every time she succeeded, she felt guilty. So subconsciously, she made sure she never had too much. She'd spend it. She'd lend it to family members who didn't pay it back. She'd sabotage opportunities that would have increased her income. We worked on rewriting that story. The new story became, my success gives my family permission to succeed too. She practiced that. She looked for evidence. She noticed that her younger sister started taking business classes after seeing Priya's career. She noticed that her parents bragged about her to their friends. The resentment she feared wasn't actually there. It was a projection. As she released the old story and embodied the new one, her finances shifted. She started saving. She stopped lending money to family without boundaries. She took a new job with a 30% raise. Her frequency changed because her story changed. Now, let's talk about the physical environment and its impact on frequency, because most people underestimate this. Your environment is constantly affecting your frequency. If you're working in a cluttered space, your mind will be cluttered. If you're surrounded by things you don't love, you'll feel heavy. If your home is chaotic, your nervous system will be activated. Environment design is frequency work. Start with your bedroom. This is where you sleep, where your nervous system is supposed to restore. Is it peaceful? Is it clean? Is it dark enough, quiet enough, comfortable enough? If not, fix it. Get blackout curtains. Remove the TV. Clear the clutter. Make it a sanctuary. Your sleep affects your frequency more than almost anything else. Then look at your workspace. What's on your desk? Is it organized or overwhelming? What's on your walls? Is it inspiring or depressing? What's the lighting like? Harsh fluorescence or warm natural light? All of this matters. Your workspace should support focus, creativity, and calm. If it doesn't, change it. Add plants, add art, add better lighting, remove distractions. Make it a place you actually want to be. Then your whole living space. Walk through your home with fresh eyes. What feels good? What feels draining? Are there areas that are neglected? Are there things you're keeping out of guilt or obligation? Go through your belongings and ask for each item. Does this raise my frequency or lower it? If it lowers it, let it go. Donate it, sell it, throw it away. You don't need it. Clutter is stuck energy. Clearing it clears your frequency. This doesn't mean you have to live in a minimalist museum. It means you surround yourself with things that genuinely bring you joy, comfort, and inspiration. Your environment also includes the media you consume. What are you watching? What are you reading? What are you listening to? Is it elevating your frequency or dragging it down? The news is designed to activate fear. Social media is designed to trigger comparison. True crime podcasts, while entertaining, fill your subconscious with violence and fear. I'm not saying never consume these things. I'm saying be intentional. Notice how you feel after consuming them. If you feel worse, limit your exposure. Curate your feed. Follow accounts that inspire you. Read books that expand you. Listen to music that elevates you. You're the gatekeeper of your frequency. Guard it. Let's go deeper into embodiment practices, because this is where frequency becomes tangible. Embodiment isn't just visualization. It's living in your body in a different way. Most people are disembodied. They're in their heads all day, thinking, planning, worrying. They're disconnected from their physical selves. Embodiment is coming back into your body, feeling your feet on the ground, feeling your breath in your lungs, feeling sensations, emotions, aliveness. When you're embodied, you're present. And presence is a high frequency. There are specific embodiment practices you can do daily. Grounding is one. Literally standing barefoot on the earth. The ground has a negative charge. Your body, especially when stressed, builds up a positive charge. Standing on the earth discharges that excess positive charge. This is science, not woo. 5 minutes of barefoot grounding can shift your entire nervous system. If you can't get outside, you can do a grounding visualization. Imagine roots growing from the soles of your feet deep into the earth. Feel the stability, the support, the connection. This sends a signal to your nervous system that you're safe. Another embodiment practice is shaking. Animals do this instinctively after a stressful event. They shake to discharge the stress from their bodies. Humans have forgotten how to do this. We hold stress in our muscles, our organs, our fascia. Shaking releases it. Put on music. Shake your whole body for 5 minutes. Let it be wild. Let it be awkward. You're not performing. You're discharging. After, notice how you feel. Lighter, more present, more alive. That's embodiment. Dancing is embodiment. Not choreographed, just moving your body to music in whatever way feels good. This reconnects you to pleasure, to freedom, to your physical self. Stretching is embodiment. Slow, intentional stretching where you're breathing into the tight places. This creates space in your body and in your energy. Massage is embodiment. Whether professional or self-massage, touch brings you back into your body. It says, you're here, you're real, you're alive. Sexual energy is embodiment too. Not necessarily sex, but the life force energy that moves through your pelvis. This energy is creative. It's magnetic. It's powerful. And most people have shame around it or have disconnected from it entirely. Reconnecting to your sexual energy raises your frequency. This can be through movement, through breath, through self-pleasure, through creative expression, however it shows up for you. The point is to stop treating that energy like it's separate or bad and start treating it like the powerful force it is. Let's talk about breath work in more detail because breath is the fastest way to shift frequency. You can't control your heart rate directly. You can't control your hormone levels directly, but you can control your breath. And your breath controls everything else. When you breathe slowly and deeply, your vagus nerve activates. This signals your nervous system that you're safe. Now let's talk about the resistance that will come up as you do this work. Resistance is your system trying to keep you safe. It's not the enemy. It's a protector, but it's protecting you from the wrong thing. It's protecting you from change, from growth, from the unknown. And change, growth, and the unknown. How will you know frequency is working without obsessing over your bank account? Because that's the trap, right? You start this work, and then you check your bank account every day looking for proof. That's low frequency. That's scarcity checking for evidence. High frequency trusts the process. So instead of obsessing over the bank account, watch for these signs. You feel calmer. Decisions come easier. Opportunities appear without you chasing them. People reach out saying they were just thinking of you. Coincidences multiply. Things resolve themselves. You have more energy. You sleep better. Your body feels lighter. These are all frequency indicators. They tell you the shift is happening even before the money shows. Troubleshooting common frequency plateaus is important because you will hit them. Plateau 1 is when you've done the initial work, you've felt the shift, but nothing's changing externally yet. This is the integration phase. Your system is reorganizing. Trust it, keep practicing. The external will catch up. Plateau 2 is when you make progress and then suddenly slide back. This is your system testing the new frequency. It's asking, is this safe? Can I really stay here? The answer is yes. Don't collapse. Don't go back to old patterns. Stay steady. This is where most people quit, right before the breakthrough. Plateau 3 is when you hit a new income level and then can't seem to break through it. This is a receiving capacity issue. Your system has maxed out at this level. Go back to the embodiment work. Practice feeling safe with more. Expand your nervous system capacity. The breakthrough will come. Your invitation to the ongoing frequency community is this. You're not alone. There are people all over the world waking up to this truth, that wealth comes from frequency, not force. That magnetism is real. That you can build a life that feels good and makes money. Find those people. Connect with them. Learn together. Support each other. Because staying in high frequency is easier when you're surrounded by people who understand it. You were never broken. Let that land. You were never too much or not enough. You were never behind. You were never doing it wrong. You were just on the wrong frequency, and frequencies can shift. They're not fixed. They're not permanent. You can change yours right now, today, this moment. You can decide that force is over and magnetism is beginning. You can decide that your worth isn't tied to your productivity. You can decide that wealth is allowed to feel easy. You can decide all of that right now, and your life will start to reorganize around that decision. Wealth was always coming. It was never not coming, but it couldn't find you when you were vibrating scarcity, hustle, and force. It was there, just outside your frequency range. Now you've tuned in. Now you're receivable. Now the wealth that's been waiting can finally land. And it will. Not all at once. Not in some dramatic lightning bolt moment, but steadily, consistently, increasingly. You'll look back a year from now and barely recognize your financial reality. Not because you worked harder, but because you finally worked smarter. Because you finally understood that the real work is internal. Welcome to life as a magnet. This is your new identity, not someone who chases, not someone who forces, not someone who grinds, but someone who attracts, someone who receives, someone who trusts, someone who knows that the universe is on their side and wealth is their natural state. This is who you are now. Walk like it, talk like it, decide like it, live like it, because the more you embody it, the more real it becomes. Let's talk about what to do with the frequency toolkit in the appendix, because this is your ongoing resource. You have options for daily practices based on how much time you have. If you only have 5 minutes, do the breath and embodiment reset. 3 deep breaths. Drop into your body. Feel the frequency of your next level for 2 minutes. Set an intention for the day. That's it. 5 minutes. If you have 15 minutes, add a short meditation or journaling practice. Sit in silence and ask, what does my frequency need today? Let the answer come. Write it down, honor it. If you have 30 minutes, do a full practice. Meditation, movement, embodiment, journaling, and intention setting. The length doesn't matter as much as the consistency. 5 minutes every day beats 30 minutes once a week. Frequency-raising playlists can be powerful tools. Sound effects frequency, certain music, soundscapes, and frequencies can shift your state quickly. Binaural beats, specifically those in the theta and alpha ranges, can help your brain move into coherence. Nature sounds, ocean waves, rain, forest ambience, these calm your nervous system. High vibration music, whatever that means to you, music that makes you feel expansive, inspired, alive. Create playlists for different frequency needs. One for when you need to calm down, one for when you need energy, one for when you need focus, one for when you need joy. Use them intentionally. Recommended reading and resources are listed for you, but remember this. Don't consume information from a low frequency. If you're reading to fix yourself, that's scarcity. If you're reading to expand yourself, that's abundance. Big difference. Read from curiosity, not desperation. And most importantly, apply what you learn. Don't just collect information. Integrate it. Practice it. Live it. The Magnetism Journal prompts for 90 days are designed to keep you engaged with this work. Journaling is one of the most powerful frequency tools because it creates awareness. It helps you see patterns. It gives your subconscious a voice. Some days you'll write pages. Some days you'll write one sentence. Both are perfect. The goal isn't volume, it's honesty. Write what's true. Write what's hard. Write what's emerging. Your journal is your frequency map. Now let's troubleshoot some common blocks, because I want you to have answers when you hit resistance. First scenario. I'm doing the work but not seeing results. Here's the diagnosis. You're probably still in force mode, just dressed up as frequency work. You're doing the practices, but with an agenda. You're meditating to make money show up. You're embodying your future self to force the timeline. That's still force. The solution is to release the outcome. Do the practices for the sake of the practices. Trust that frequency shifts create results. But don't strangle the process with expectation. Let it be easy. Let it be exploratory. Let it be enough just to feel better in your body. The results will come when you stop demanding them. Second scenario. I feel guilty for prioritizing frequency. This is the worthiness wound again. You've been conditioned to believe that you have to earn the right to feel good, that you have to be productive before you rest, that prioritizing yourself is selfish. None of that is true. Here's the reframe. When you prioritize your frequency, you become more available to everyone around you. You have more to give. You make better decisions. You create more value. Prioritizing frequency isn't selfish, it's strategic. And it's necessary. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't be magnetic when you're depleted. Give yourself permission, not because you earned it, but because you're human and you deserve to feel good. Third scenario. My environment is low frequency. Maybe you live with people who are negative. Maybe your job is toxic. Maybe your city feels heavy. This is real and it's hard. You can't always change your environment immediately, but you can create pockets of high frequency within it. You can protect your morning routine. You can set boundaries around your energy. You can limit exposure to the low frequency elements. You can find community online or outside your immediate environment. You can make your bedroom a sanctuary. You can use headphones to create an auditory bubble. You can take walks to get out of the space. And you can work toward changing the environment long term. Save money. Make plans. Take steps. But while you're in it, protect your frequency fiercely. It's possible. It's harder, but it's possible. Fourth scenario. I keep self-sabotaging when money comes. This is a nervous system capacity issue. Your system has a set point for how much wealth it can hold before it perceives danger. When you exceed that set point, your system creates chaos to bring you back down. The solution is somatic healing. You need to work with your body, not just your mind. Find a somatic practitioner, a trauma-informed coach, or a body-based therapist. Do practices that help your nervous system feel safe with more. Do titration work where you expose yourself to slightly more wealth, let your system adjust, then expose yourself to more. It's like building muscle. You can't go from lifting 5 pounds to 50 pounds overnight. You build capacity gradually. And you heal the wounds that convinced you that having more isn't safe. Here's another real story, though the names are changed. There's a woman named Jade. She grew up poor, like truly poor. Food insecurity, evictions, the whole thing. By the time she was 35, she'd built a successful business. She was making great money, but she couldn't keep it. Every time her account would hit a certain number, something would happen. Her car would break down. She'd get sick and have medical bills. She'd make an impulsive purchase. It was like clockwork. We worked together and traced it back. When she was a kid, anytime her mom had money, her mom's boyfriend would take it. So little Jade learned that having money made you a target. That safety was in not having too much. Her adult nervous system was still running that program. We did somatic work. We helped her body learn that having money now is different than having money then. That she's safe now. That no one's going to take it. It took time, but the pattern broke. She started keeping her money, started investing it, started letting it grow. That's healing work. That's frequency work, and it's available to you too. Let's talk about what happens after you finish this audiobook. Because this isn't a one and done thing. This is a practice, a lifestyle, a commitment. You'll be tempted to go back to force. The world will pull you back. Urgency will creep in. Scarcity will whisper. Hustle culture will call your name. And you'll have to choose, again and again, to stay in frequency. Some days will be easy. Some days will be hard. That's okay. You're not aiming for perfection. You're aiming for awareness and course correction. Set up accountability for yourself. Maybe that's a friend who's also doing this work. Maybe that's a coach. Maybe that's a journal practice where you review your frequency weekly. Maybe that's a calendar reminder that pops up every day asking, what frequency am I on? Find what works for you and build it into your life. Celebrate your wins, especially the subtle ones. When you notice you're in scarcity and you shift, that's a win. When you set a boundary without apologizing, that's a win. When you rest without guilt, that's a win. When you receive a compliment cleanly, that's a win. These micro wins are frequency shifts and they compound. Celebrate them. Acknowledge them. Let them anchor the new pattern. Be patient with yourself. You've been running force patterns for years, maybe decades. They won't dissolve overnight. There will be backslides. There will be moments where you forget everything you learned here and you find yourself grinding again. That's normal. That's human. Don't make it mean anything about you. Just notice it. Smile at it and choose again. Choose frequency. Choose magnetism. Choose ease. Remember that this work is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been underneath the conditioning. You were born magnetic. You were born abundant. You were born worthy. And then life happened. You learned to force. You learned to hustle. You learned to doubt. But none of that is the truth of you. The truth of you is the magnet. The truth of you is the high-frequency being who attracts wealth effortlessly. This work is just removing the layers that covered that truth. So who are you, really? Not who you've been told to be. Not who you think you should be. But who you are when all the noise falls away. You're someone who is deeply valuable. Someone who has something unique to offer. Someone who is worthy of wealth, ease, and joy. Someone who can trust themselves and trust the universe. Someone who doesn't need to force because they know how to magnetize. That's who you are. And every time you practice frequency work, you're reinforcing that truth. Here's a final visualization for you. Close your eyes one more time. Take a deep breath. Imagine yourself 1 year from today. You've been practicing frequency work consistently. You've been choosing magnetism over mechanics. You've been protecting your energy and prioritizing your state. What does your life look like? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? What's your relationship with money? With work? With yourself? See it clearly. Not as a fantasy, but as a real, tangible future that's available to you. Now notice how that future version of you is feeling. Calm, confident, easeful, abundant. That's the frequency. Now bring that frequency into this present moment. Feel it in your body right now. This isn't future. This is available now. You don't have to wait a year. You can embody it today, and when you embody it today, you collapse the timeline. You become the magnet now. Take one more breath. Open your eyes. You've just experienced what's possible. What if you actually did this? What if you committed to 90 days of frequency-first living? What if you protected your energy like your life depended on it? What if you said no to force and yes to magnetism? What if you trusted that wealth could come from ease instead of effort? What if you let yourself rest, receive, and be visible from overflow? What would change? Everything. Everything would change. You're standing at a choice point right now. You can go back to the way you've been doing things. The force, the hustle, the grind. It's familiar. It's what everyone else is doing. But you know where it leads. Exhaustion, resentment, and a ceiling you can't break through. Or you can choose something different. You can choose frequency. You can choose magnetism. You can choose to trust that there's another way. A way that feels good. A way that actually works. A way that's sustainable. Which will you choose? I'm guessing if you've made it this far, you're choosing frequency. You're choosing magnetism. You're choosing yourself. And that choice is everything. That choice is the beginning of a completely different life. A life where wealth flows to you instead of you chasing it. A life where work feels aligned instead of draining. A life where you're resourced, rested, and radiant. That life is available. It's not someday, it's now. So here's what you do next. You take the first step, just the first one. Maybe that's doing the morning practice tomorrow. Maybe that's setting one boundary today. Maybe that's raising your rates by 20%. Maybe that's resting without guilt this afternoon. Maybe that's simply noticing your frequency right now. Whatever the first step is, take it. And then take the next one, and the next one. One step at a time, you build a completely different life. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to start. Start where you are. Start with what you have. Start with 5 minutes. Start with one practice. Start with the willingness to try something new. That's enough. That's more than enough. That's everything. And know this. You're not alone in this. There are thousands of people waking up to this truth right now. That force is over. That frequency is the future. That magnetism is real. You're part of a global shift in consciousness. A shift from doing to being. From force to flow. From scarcity to abundance. And your commitment to your own frequency work contributes to that shift. Not just for you, but for everyone. Because when you rise, you give others permission to rise too. When you choose ease, you show others that ease is possible. When you become magnetic, you prove that magnetism works. You're not just changing your life, you're changing the world. So welcome to the frequency revolution. Welcome to life as a magnet. Welcome to wealth that feels good. Welcome to ease. Welcome to you, the real you, the magnetic you, the abundant you, the you who was always there, just waiting to be remembered. This is your time. This is your moment. This is your invitation. Will you accept it? Will you step into your magnetism? Will you choose frequency over force? I think you will. I think you already have. And I can't wait to see what you create from this place. What wealth you attract. What life you build. What magic you become. You've got this. You've always had this. You just needed to remember. And now you do. So go be magnetic. Go build wealth from frequency. Go live the life that's been waiting for you. It's all available. It's all here. It's all yours. Welcome home.